This is Carrie Cassidy from Project Camelot, and I am live an hour earlier than I thought I'd be, so I am a little confused over here because we have daylight savings time in California, and I didn't realize the distinction between here and Europe would be different, and so I have to say that I'm completely confused. But they are trying to remedy the situation, and we are live, and we also have Dr. Waterman with us, who's going to help me get through the next, 50 minutes or so, and we're just going to sort of chat it up, and then he's going to run his show, I guess, an hour later, and I'm going to start officially at 12 noon with Dr. Bill Deagle. So at the moment, we are actually going ahead with all of this. And so I want to say hi to everybody. I have been in Florida. I'm sorry we had to have a rerun last week, but maybe some people got to catch up on that and get up to speed with what was going on there. I have a recent release. In case you haven't been to the website lately, you should go. The URL is ProjectCamelotPortal.com. It's a new URL. We are moving from ProjectCamelot.org to ProjectCamelotPortal.com. So if you can bookmark bookmark the site there, I think you'll be a lot better off. We've been having some technical issues with the .org site, and I'm hoping that they will go away very soon. I'm hoping it's working now, although I have no guarantees. But meanwhile, the portal is operating, and so is my site, which is the Project Camelot Productions, which is you can get to right off the portal. And so now I have another interview with Ben, and his name is Benjamin Murphy. He's the contact who brought us the Heather material, and I do encourage you to listen to that interview. It was recorded back in, I think it was early November, and it's quite fascinating. It does tell you more about the Heather material if you were a follower of that information and you were curious whatever happened with all of that. I do want to say that we never received the packet of information we were hoping to get, and we don't know what happened to Heather. She may have been killed or not. The latest information I got was she was not killed, but that she's definitely gone underground. Whether or not there was ever a real Heather is also a question, I have to say. But the information is probably pretty accurate, although it may not be specifically accurate, if you can understand that the concepts and what's going on there may well be accurate. So at the moment, I am, is Dr. Waterman, are you there?
Yes, Carrie, I'm here.
Okay, lovely to have you with me here in the wilds of radio.
That's right, in the wilds of radio. But we are people. We can beat this technical stuff.
That's exactly right. We're going to be flexible, and we are not computers, so we can compute beyond the average.
That's right.
Computational. We've still got those things beat, I believe. Humanity. So do not fear, and that relates directly to the Heather material, believe it or not. So, Dr. Waterman, I understand that you have an update of some kind of news for us.
Well, there is. I just within the hour got information that there is the world's largest biological warfare research lab is going to be constructed in the middle of Kansas. It's
not good news.
Yeah, that's not good news. It's going to be in Manhattan, Kansas, in association with Kansas State University. It's going to double the size of that mid-sized or small town. There's probably about 25,000 students, I think, at KSU, Kansas State University. And it makes the town about 80,000 when they're all there. And this whole thing is kind of interesting. It's going to take about 4 years to construct, and it's going to be the main biological warfare center. And it's right next to Fort Riley. And there's a General Libsey that Schwarzkopf referred to him as a very honest, reliable, patriotic American general, very well respected, who had just retired, but he's been called back to Fort Riley. And he's a consultant, but oddly enough, this general has the last say of everything at Fort Riley. As a consultant, that's kind of strange. But he's still working, and he is an advisor on this project. So right now there is a huge economic boom going on in Manhattan, Kansas. And I think it's kind of interesting. It's the Manhattan Project. So anyway.
Yeah, that's very, very interesting. I have to say it's a little strange. And the news itself, I mean, is this in the general public, or is this something that you're just getting?
No. You if you found it anywhere on the internet, I would be completely surprised, because this comes one ear away from the general. So it's not, no, you're not going to get this from the news source. So this isn't in the news. Okay,
well, that's very interesting. Yeah, absolutely, because I was going to say, if this was general news, I think Kansas would be real thrilled. Other than, I guess they probably do need the work.
Well, it's interesting because it's only going to employ about 500 people, but it's probably going to double the size of the town by thousands, and there's hotels and restaurants going up. There's going to be high-ranking military officials from it's interesting that they're going to be coming from all around the world. Now, don't ask me how I know all this, but it's coming from a source that comes right from that Fort Riley. And anyway, so the information has, of course, this military-industrial complex hell-bent for biological destruction out there in the middle of the country. I think that's kind of interesting. It's going to take, 4 years to build, or maybe even 5. But I don't know if you're familiar, but level 4 labs. I keep trying to say floor and labs at the same time. Labs are the highest level. That would be the ones, for example, where, Ebola and that sort of thing occurred. That was where there's a level floor laboratory by JPL down in Houston, Texas, where they brought the satellites back from space that collected the dust samples, not knowing what they would have in them. They, of course, landed that satellite in 2006 in the Southwest Desert. That project was called Project Stardust. Project Stardust is that project that I worked on. And the project was to try and determine how close to the center of the galaxy we were getting, because the whole solar system is moving into the center line of the galaxy where the strongest gravitational waves are. And their concern was how dense are rhodium and iridium, which will, if we get too much of it, will, blanket the sun or bombard the sun and cause it to overheat, which we think might be what's causing it to be very quiet. But then that's kind of like whenever you enclose something that's actually pressurizing it, at a certain point it can pop, just like sound waves can pop a wine glass. So it's going to cause it maybe to erupt in a more violent way eventually. So that's what their concern was, and so that's what they were after, and I helped them look at that. That project's over. When it came back to the planet, when the satellite came back, the project to look at all this data was called Project Stardust at Home, because it had come home. It was being coordinated by the University of Berkeley, so you can look for it on their site, or you can look on a NASA site and, Google Stardust Project, and you'll see all about it. But they're not going to tell you exactly what their intent was.
No. Actually, what we're talking about is a renewed number of asteroids. Isn't that what we're really talking about?
It's exactly. When the galaxy more than likely was created through this explosive